excited about it. So just make sure I started the recording. So today we will be talking about the 3 phases of your career. So the 3 phases of your career, and we've all kind of heard the different phases. And this is actually going to be taught on by Peter Ferret from the Leadership Manual. So it explains the 3 different phases in your first year of the business. Okay, your first 3 months, and then the next 3 months, and then the second part of your year. And this is exactly what your career should look like whenever you start working here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's share my screen. Yeah, and let's get right down to it. So if you were asking yourself, how do you find this leadership manual? This leadership manual, it is on the same website, Protect One Family website, that the Success Manual is and the B2B Success Manual is. It's under Leadership Resources area. So on the top right where it says Agent Resources area, go to the tab right below it that says Leader Resources area, and then it's right there under Manuals. So I would go ahead and just download it. And if you want to print it out, you totally can. I just have this saved to my computer. And this is a great part, guys. If you ever have a team, I would highly recommend looking this over, because there's so many good parts on here. It talks about financials of the business, 5 years in, 10, 15, 20 years. It talks about how to get somebody prepared for sales school. So this is actually part that we're looking at right here is getting somebody prepared for Sales Academy before they even go. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about, the 3 phases of the career. But there's so many things in here that's really good. So, and really just making sure that people come on board the right way, and then making sure that their expectations are set and the tone is set day one. That is huge. So this is the part that you probably want to take some notes on, because if you have a new agent, or you're interested in never having a new agent, or you're a brand new agent yourself and you just started 2 weeks ago, this is what the first phase and the second and third phase should look like. Okay, so let's talk about the first phase, which is months 1 through 3. So if you do the job the right way, you should be in this first phase of months 1 through 3. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about each phase. Okay. So whenever you first start, okay, you pretty much have made the decision that you're the CEO and president of your own business. Okay. The good news is you didn't have to take out a huge loan. You had to invest probably $300 to get your insurance license. But I tell people, I kind of wish people had to invest $300,000 to get their insurance license, because that's kind of the effort you have to take when you first start this career. You got to really envision that you're investing that much money, because if you invest that much money, you're going to take it super, super seriously and run it like an actual business, like you're running your own pizza place or your own gym or whatever small business that you have. You're there, before 8 a.m. You never leave before 5. You were running it, 5, sometimes 6 days a week. Sometimes people work 60, 70 hours a week when they start up a new business. Well, if you have that same mindset here, you're 100% going to be successful here as well. So this is not a 9-to-5 cubicle job. And really your first 3 months, it's called building that foundation. It's the most important part of your career. And it's also the hardest and the most hours you're probably going to put in on a daily basis of your career. But it is your first 90 days, your first 3 months is the most important part of your career. And knowing that if you work it very aggressively, you will only have to go through this phase one time. Okay. But if you don't work this phase very aggressively, you will be in this phase 1 for longer than 3 months. So some people, if you're on this call and you've been here for 6 months to a year and you're still in this phase, it's because you just haven't worked it as aggressively as you should have. So you're going to have to start off from square one and get through phase 1 before you eventually phase into phase 2. Okay. So here's a few things that you should be doing in this first phase to help yourself get through it. So the first thing is just 30 minutes of reading and study positive material or sales material every single day. Okay. We talk about that, technical material at nighttime, positive material in the morning, feeding your brain that positive energy, claims, eagles. Number 2 out of the 3 each day, 2 out of 3 days. Okay. And guys, this manual was created by Peter Ferret, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And a lot of these things are still, we preach on just like we did years ago, right? Now, there's definitely a couple small tweaks, but most of these things is pretty much word for word. 2 out of the 3 days, back then a 2 out of 3 day was 10 hours a day. Now we only say 8 hours a day, but if you do 10 hours a day, 6 demos and 1 client and 6 referrals, that is kind of putting the icing on the cake. That is a 2 out of 3 day right there. Okay. 2 days per week, face-to-face meeting with a partner manager. So getting trained by somebody, right? Meeting them in the office or just going out into the field with somebody, which we do a pretty good job of that. Okay. Being on the weekly Monday morning conference calls, as well as the Thursday legacy calls. So now we actually have conference calls every single day. So just being on the calls Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday, being on the recruiting rally call by corporate. Okay. Just making sure that you're attending those calls, attending all train wars. Now we kind of do home wars. We actually work more from home, but making sure that you're attending those and that you're showing up, that you plan that in your calendar. You know when the home wars are, the train wars are, and that you have those as your push weeks where you work extra hard. Okay. And then on here, it says working Monday through Saturday. So, you don't have to work every single Saturday, but I would recommend on train wars, I would recommend, working on Saturdays. I did that for my first 3 years. Calling in or texting stats nightly to your direct manager. So we tell you guys to put your stats in on the website before you drive home. So whenever you leave your last business, when you get in your car, that's when you put your stats in. We do not want you to bring your work home. We want you to have your stats in. So your manager, when they get home, they can look at your stats and give you a quick stat call. And then, or just call you whenever they're driving home. And then we can tell how your day was. If you have a ton of contacts but very little demos, we know exactly what we're going to talk to you about, the approach. If you have a lot of demos, if you get 10 demos in a day and don't close anybody, we know exactly what we're going to talk to you about having a better intro, buying atmosphere, close, or rebuttals. Okay. So it's important to put your stats in each night before you get home. That way we know exactly what to talk to you on that day and not wait until 1 or 2 days later. Okay. Having a weekly conference with your direct manager, having a weekly business review, just having a set time that if you don't have like a weekly business review with somebody and you're in your first year, reach out to your direct manager, the person right above you, and set up a time that you can have a 15 to 20 minute call with them. That is huge. I think I have 4 agents in our agency that I have a weekly call with right now. Calling on the residential market, some people call it residentially. Now we do pretty much all B2B here. And this, like I said, this manual was created about 15 to 20 years ago, where most people still actually sold residentially. But whenever I first came here 7 years ago, I sold residentially my first year and a half before I kind of phased into B2B. But collecting 6 referrals a day, this is huge. Doesn't matter if you work B2B or residentially, referrals is just smart. Working smart, not hard. And working both hard and smart is the best way to go. So referrals is definitely the smart way to work. So here's an example of a schedule. Now this is a residential schedule, so this probably wouldn't apply to most of us because this is more residentially. But it says, wake up at 7 a.m. That's when you do your workout, shower, breakfast, write thank you cards to clients. So think to yourself, when was the last time you wrote a thank you card to your clients? Do you actually have that in your schedule, or you're doing that at night or in the morning of writing thank you cards? If not, I would highly recommend doing it. Driving to your territory, first appointment of the day, lunch, reading positive material. And I would recommend doing lunch in your car and not going out to fast food. I actually packed my lunch. If you look right here, check it out. I'm going to be out in the field today. I have a nice ham and mayonnaise and cheese sandwich that I made for the road. So when Greg Pendleton's following me, he will see me eat this sandwich right at 12 o'clock. And then it says at 4:45 is when you start your gravy time. So gravy time is when you do follow-ups, following up with people that you missed during the day. So you can do that same thing in the B2B market, probably like around 3 to 4 o'clock. Go back to the businesses that were busy in the beginning part of the day and go catch up with them before the day ends. That's what gravy time is. Okay. So, and then here's a couple other things. So phase 1, this is actually going to be the most information is in phase 1, but reaching out to prospects, recruiting prospects. It could be fraternity brothers or sisters, college roommates, friends from college, your cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, anybody in your family, people in your community, from church, your local barber, clients that you meet along the way, or field recruits each and every single day. Reaching out to these people and introducing them to your agency owner. Okay, so even though this manual was created 15, 20 years ago, they're talking about the exact same things that we're talking about right now. This is huge. And you know, me and Van and everybody in your hierarchy, you know, we're your mentors. So we want to help you grow your business. You don't have to hire these people. We're going to do all the work on that end for you. But the thing is, if you're doing things the right way, you may get some people added onto your team, either through your network of market or people that we meet along the way that's going to be working in your area. Okay, so if you're doing the job the right way, even a phase one, you could get a couple people on your team as well. Okay, and then whenever you've been here for at least 3 months and made 50 sales, then your B2B training begins. Okay, here we actually do B2B training day one. Okay, but it's important to work through your referrals and really capitalize on your market to really gain that confidence. Okay, and making sure that this last line right here, learning more about competitors and tailoring your demo to your selling style. Okay, making sure that you learn all about the competitors, guys. We all know Colonial, Aflac. In phase one, I remember whenever I first started here, I had never even heard of Colonial Insurance in my entire life, ever. I was like, who the heck is Colonial? I remember I've heard of Aflac because of TV commercials, but I remember my first 90 days, I didn't even know what Medicare was at all. Like, I was like, I have no idea what that was. So you're going to learn all these things about these different kinds of insurances, really your first 90 days. Okay, and really just being a student of the game, learning all about the products that we sell, what our competitor sells, the differences, you know, the return of premium, that we're really the only big insurance company that does that for this specific niche of insurance. That's a big leg up. No caps, like really all the things that makes us different than other companies. You're going to learn a lot about that in phase one. You know, how, you know, we like to reservice our customers. You know, we don't just say, you know, sell them one time and never see them again, like what a lot of Aflac agents do. We go back and say, hey, you know, we catch up with them. We get to know them and their family. We take pictures with our clients. We're probably one of the only insurance companies that actually do that in America, which is the reason why our retention rate is out the roof and triple what our competitors are, right? So making sure, and then the last thing is, you know, territory-wise, we usually start off agents in small towns, especially in our first phase. And you guys already understand that if you've been here for a couple months. It's just easier to get referrals. So usually your territory is 15 to 45 minutes away, and working in a small town and really getting plugged in and really just, you know, getting as many referrals as possible in a small town. And you'll probably work that town for 6 months to a year before you kind of migrate to a bigger town. Okay, that's usually what it looks like. And you don't have to work Saturdays in your first phase, but you get to. Okay, and I know that for myself. I did work Saturdays every Saturday for my first 3 months. I did work for at least half the Saturday. You know, I wasn't putting in, you know, 12 hours every Saturday, but for at least half a day. And even, you know, I'm 7 years in, and I still work on Traymores, you know, every other, you know, on Saturdays too as well. Like I worked on PPW all day on Saturday. Okay, and really, when you should work on a Saturday in the beginning part of your career is if you didn't hit your goal during the week. So like if you hit your goal for the week and you already hit the hours that you're trying to achieve in your demos, then don't work on Saturday. But if you took a day off or whatever, I think let's say you got a half a day cut off because something came up, then I would highly recommend putting that extra time that you missed on a Saturday, just running your business like a business. Okay, and just making sure that the day is not complete until you do at least 10 hours, 6 demos, and 1 sale, and 6 referrals per day. Okay, that's phase one of your career. This is, even though it's going to seem like the longest phase of your career, it's only 3 months. So if you do this for 3 months, you will get past phase one and eventually phase into what's called phase two. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about phase two. Phase two is really months 4 through 6. Okay, so it's the next 3 months of your career, and you should have already gathered over 50 sales so far. Your routine becomes more flexible. Now you have a little bit more flexibility, not a ton, but you still have more flexibility with your career. It's starting to look a little bit more similar to what you kind of envisioned here when you first got hired, of, you know, the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. Now you may be joining a softball league or, you know, a soccer or basketball league, you know, because you're not working till, you know, so late at night. You have a little more free time at nighttime to go spend some extra time with your family, or just whatever things that you like to do outside of work hours. Okay. And you're really not working late every night, but you still have a couple of nights each week that you work late, say like on Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday and Thursday may be your appointments night, where if you need to see a husband and their spouse at home, that's when you do it, is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that could be the 2 nights a week that you work till 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. But then on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're getting home, at 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. Okay. So that's kind of how it looks like. Now you're definitely working full B2B. You're still working in the same town that you started off in. You got tons of customers now. You got lots of pictures that you can show proof of good street cred in your territory. You know a ton of the local business owners. Some of them have bought from you. Some of them have not. And so pretty much in this phase of the career, you're still cold calling, but every business that you go into, it seems like a warm call, because you already have customers that they probably know. You've been here for a few months. You feel like you're part of the town, even though you're not from this town. You feel like you know a lot of people in the town. Like, you know who the police chief is, the fire chief, the principal, the owner of the business that's been there for 40 years, the local restaurant that everybody goes to after high school, or that everybody eats at, when they're done with school for the day. Like, all the owners of the big time businesses. So every business that you go into, you can connect with them within 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, that's called phase 2. And you're really mastering your referrals. You're getting a lot of referrals every single day, and you're seeing some of these referrals in addition to cold calling and still building up your client base. Okay, and some days you're literally bouncing around from businesses to businesses all around town, because you just have appointments set up. Like, every day you may not have appointments set up all day, where you still got to spend some time prospecting during the day, but you definitely have a few appointments, 3 to 7 appointments on a daily basis that you're going to go see them at a certain time. And then during the time that in between those appointments, you're filling up your pipeline with some new leads or catching up with some other referrals that you just got. Okay. That is month 3 through 6. Okay. So if you do the job the right way, that's what it should look like. Okay. And you're mapping out each day, you're planning your days. You already kind of know exactly where you're starting every single day. Here, you definitely know the differences between us and our competitors. You're very confident in our product. You know that we have the best product on the market. You're starting to do some smaller enrollments all on your own. Your manager has probably helped you do a few enrollments already, but in this phase, they have kind of let you graduate and you do some of your own group presentations. Unless it's like a huge group presentation, you can start doing your own group presentations by yourself. But you're still sharpening your saw each night. So you're still listening to advanced sales audios. You're still reading Eagles in the morning, because you still need that every single day. You're reading books at night still, and making sure that you're feeding your brain positive energy on a daily basis. Okay. And you're working more, probably closer to 45 hours, between 40 and 45 hours, instead of 50 to 60 hours like it was your first 3 months. So your hours have probably been trimmed down by about 5 to 8 hours per week or so. Okay. And the reason why you can work less hours in phase 2 is just because your skill level's higher, because you learn on how to sell more, your closing percentage is better, and your hour to demo ratio is better. So you don't have to approach as many businesses to get as many demos. So when you first start, you may have to approach 30 businesses to get 6 demos, or 25 businesses. Here, you're probably approaching between 10 to 15 businesses a day to get 6 demos a day. Okay, so that's called phase 2. Okay, now let's go to the last part. Now, this is the part that when we all got hired here, what we kind of envisioned this career. And it may take you 6, 7, 8, 9 months to get to this point. It's called phase 3 of the business. Okay, so this is really from 7 months on up until you really are pretty much done selling here for the rest of your career. This is when you have survived the toughest part of the business. You're going to be here for a while. If you go through phase 1 and phase 2 and you make it into phase 3, you're going to be here for a very long time. You're probably going to have a full-time career, 20-year career here with Go Black Family Heritage. You haven't just established yourself as a competent and successful salesperson, but you proved yourself as a potential leader in our business. You've allowed yourself to have some freedom and flexibility to really customize what this business is going to do for your life. And you really work heavily off referrals. You can go back into your old towns that you've worked in and reservice clients, and then every single year, you can go back and reservice businesses you've already sold to, go upsell people that have already you protected last year or 6 months ago. You can go add on a heart policy to them or whatever policies that they don't have. Get new referrals as well. But that's kind of what your day looks like. Okay. You don't have to sell as much. You've already made a good amount of sales, and you probably have a team at this point. Okay. So if you're in phase 3, you're probably spending a lot of your time training other agents around the same area, or people that you just recruited, people that you may have met from your friends or family network, that you source your agency under, that they kind of put on your team as well. Okay. You're probably a member of a chamber of commerce by this point. If you're in phase 3, you're in BNI group, you're in chamber of commerce, you're in HR groups. Guys, there's so many groups. If you just Google like BNI, Mooresville, North Carolina, BNI, Asheville, North Carolina, go join it, because I promise you, it will help you get inside businesses that you would never get inside unless you were in that group. Okay. There are certain businesses that you can't get inside by walking up to their front door. Okay. So just knowing that some businesses, you have to network your way inside. That's what BNI is for, and Chamber of Commerce. Okay. So usually when you're in phase 2, phase 3, you start joining these groups. Okay. Because they really help you get inside the big dogs and really the big businesses that you see on the side of the road that you can't just walk into. Okay. And really from this point forward, your options are unlimited in the business and your life is looking more like you first envisioned when you got hired here. And, but the thing is, it's earned. It's called earned flexibility, not unearned, because it took a ton of hard work to get to this point.
We all wear crazy socks.
All right. If you're talking about your crazy socks in Wilmington, just please mute your phone.
My bad, Kyle.
But we will see your crazy socks tomorrow. But yeah, not right now. And as you can see, it took a lot of hard work to get to this point, and it's going to require a lot more years of hard work. And but it's exciting because you have a well-balanced life. You're probably working a consistent 40 hours a week here, and your income is growing along with your renewals as well, which is exciting. So I'm going to close off this call, guys, with this. This is a mission statement. This is actually from Peter Frey. This is a great mission statement. Okay, so my mission as president of Schneider Agencies, or whatever your team name is to help you develop a successful business model that can help you achieve financial success, a balanced lifestyle for you and your family, a crystal clear vision of your lifelong purpose, a network of lifelong friends and accountability partners, and a sales organization of independent salespeople and leaders that carry out for generations to come. Okay. All I ask in return is for you to ask for help when or before you need it, honest and integrity in how you handle your people and your business, and your very best effort on and off the field. Okay. So that's all we ask for, guys. So hopefully this helps you guys with just seeing the different phases of the career here, and whatever phase you're in, just focus on the basics. The common underlying principle was the 2 out of the 3 days. Do not finish today, guys. We will be at agency day tomorrow. So you want to have momentum. There's going to be 45 to 50 people there. Let's go have a rockin' day on Thursday. I'm talking about this may be the last day that you're selling for the week, because we're going to, tomorrow's Friday and we're going to be an agency day. So work today like there's no tomorrow. Okay. If you don't have any good news for the week, go make some. That's what today's for. Go make it happen today. Don't wait for it to happen. Go make it happen. Today is going to be a super long work day, and let's go have some fun and get some serious momentum so we can have a great meeting tomorrow, guys. I will see you guys at 9 a.m. In Greensboro at 3232 Yanceyville Street at the church. So we will be seeing you guys tomorrow morning. Let's go have a great Thursday, and I'll talk to you guys then.
Hey, great meeting, Kyle. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Cal.
Thanks, Kyle.
Later, guys. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Love your face. Thank you.